Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. First Gen Yana here, and if you came back from my previous video, hi, nice to see you again. And if you're new here, hello, nice to see you here. But make sure that you subscribe, and literally to everyone, if you have like any recommendations or if you want to see like anything specific relating to the first gen experience, make sure to leave them down in the comments. But with that being said, let's dive into today's video. Recently, Cornell University, their Learning Strategy Center, came out with a whole list of like study practices and tips that could help undergraduate college students. And they talked about this thing called space practice, retrieval practice, and while I would love to say that that worked for me because Cornell said so, you know, it just didn't. It did not work for me. And this is something that I struggled a lot my first year in college. I did not know how to study. Like coming from high school to college, I had never seen it or done it before or taken any type of college level courses. And so I was honestly lost. Like my first year of college, it was really hard to get into that study mindset. However, after trying different things, developing different disciplined practices to study, I've developed 4 tips that will help you get into this habit of studying. All right, so number 1, make sure that you have a calendar. I cannot stress this enough. Calendars will save your life in college. You're trying to balance not only homework, but internships. You have so many other deadlines that you're going to encounter. So make sure that you know what is due when, what is happening when your classes are. For me personally, I've always had a planner. And I love to have like physical planners where I can actually write stuff down. I'll give you an example. This was January. This was a newer planner. I didn't start using it until like halfway through January, but as you can see, I had like different assignments due. I had the time, what they were for, who would I speak with, and basically planners just help you know what is due when, because storing it all into your brain might not work all the time. And I know if you are a college student, I know this one friendly thing called Canvas. Yeah, Canvas is scary. It's scary, but it's useful. They have this feature, which is their calendar, and I'll insert a picture
here, and basically it is so useful as a college student. It just shows you literally when all your assignments are due, what time they're due, and it'll put them in order. And there is this little trick that I encountered on that you can sync up your Canvas calendar into your Google Calendar, and I'll insert another little video in here somewhere if I'm able to. That's so amazing what a calendar can do for you.
Okay, number 2. If you are going to study, be aware of the space where you are studying at. Like growing up, for me, the longest time, I always studied on my bed. And when I got to college, I realized that that was not it. I would literally study on my bed for hours, and then at night when it was time to go to sleep, I would get so anxious that I could not go to sleep. Like I could literally feel my heart beating. So if you are going to study, make sure that you're intentionally setting a space out to study. Not only will it allow for your brain to actually be like, okay, this is the space where I'm going to study at, but it'll put you in that mindset of knowing that that is time to study. And now I'm not saying like go to a Starbucks every day, or I don't know, do not spend money on studying. Instead, like designate a little corner of your room or use your room floor to study. Just a space where you know that that will be your study area, you know? For tip number 3, make sure that you are planning out your time. So let's say Wednesday, I have a day full of classes from 8 to 4 p.m. back to back. I have tests for 2 of them. And it's just, I know for a fact that I'm gonna have no time to study. days before, I'm gonna go ahead and plan my time. In my calendar, I'm gonna physically put out 2 hours to study this day, 2 hours to study this day, and I'm going to ensure that I am prepared for those classes. Because let me tell you, in college, you need to plan. You can't just do things last minute. Along with like planning out your days, I also make sure to plan out like the actual time when I study or when I do my homework. So like, let's say I'm going to do an assignment, and usually it'll take me like 2 hours or 3 hours. But also I know myself, and I know that I'm not going to just be working those full 2 hours. I'm gonna be on TikTok, I'm gonna be on Instagram, and I'm going to take little breaks here and there. I'm going to insert those like 30 minutes of break into those 2 hours. So I'm going to block off 2.5 hours. So make sure that you're going to plan the time that you need to be successful into time that you're going to set apart. And lastly, the last tip I'll leave you all is to explore what works for you. Like I said, when I was a freshman, I struggled so much trying to find what actually worked for me. I would make study guides and I would spend so much time on them that a lot of times I didn't even actually know how to review them. And it took me a while until I found a technique for me that works. It's called the Pomodoro method. And this is where I would work like 25 minutes and then I would take like 5-minute breaks, or I would work 30 minutes and take 10-minute breaks. And essentially it helps me break it out into sections. However, while this works for me, it might not work for you. So make sure that you explore various different ways to study. Studying in college is a lot different than from studying in high school. And you know, it might take you some time trying to figure out what works for you. You can go from one studying way to another studying way. And if that doesn't work, go ahead and try another one. You know, it might take you time, and that's totally okay. It takes patience. And for me, it took me almost 2 years to figure out what actually worked. Now that I'm a third year, it's a lot easier to actually focus. And sometimes I struggle to study, to sit down and get into that mindset. And that's totally okay. You have to have patience with yourself. And with that being said, thank you all for watching this video, for stopping by. And if you all have any studying tips that work for you, if you found, I don't know, different materials that you would love to share with everyone else, leave them down in the comments below. And remember to subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video.